But before that, I see Dan Baer has a question.
Yeah, just Ed, I'd like you to one more time, if you would, please, cite the constitutional and legislative obligations of this board, if you would, before we vote.
Well, the constitutional obligation is a constitutional obligation of the township to provide to its land development regulations, including its zoning ordinances, a realistic opportunity for the construction of their fair share of the region's low and moderate income housing needs. That general constitutional obligation is implemented through the Fair Housing Act and the process that's set forth there and in the municipal land use law. One of the steps in that process is the adoption of a housing element and fair share plan, which is before the board, that implements or memorializes that constitutional obligation. In this case, the constitutional obligation or the satisfaction of the constitutional obligation was achieved through a settlement agreement that the township entered into as part of the declaratory judgment action. That settlement agreement was approved by the Superior Court at a hearing, a fairness hearing that took place in January of this year. And this housing element and fair share plan mirrors, for lack of a better word, that settlement agreement. So this housing element and fair share plan becomes the portion of the master plan that implements the constitutional obligation that is memorialized in the settlement agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I just for your information, I have a resolution that I prepared so we have something in writing. The resolution, if the board is so inclined, is a resolution adopting the third round housing element and fair share plan as a component of the master plan of the Township of Millburn. That's the title of the resolution. The resolution refers to our master plan, refers to this document, this June 2nd housing element and fair share plan that we've been considering tonight, refers to the history in the preamble that Ms. McManus has gone through, as well as the history of the township's activities, including the adoption of the 2018 housing element and fair share plan that will be superseded by this resolution. And I just want to read the 3 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs of the resolution as it relates to your actual action. And that is number 1, the Township of Millburn Planning Board hereby approves and adopts the housing element and fair share plan entitled, quote, Housing Element and Fair Share Plan, Township of Millburn, New Jersey, County of Essex, New Jersey, dated June 2, 2022, as an amendment to an element of the 1991 Comprehensive Master Plan, as thereafter amended and supplemented, and hereby repeals the April 2018 Housing Element and Fair Share Plan previously adopted on April 18, 2018. Number 2, the final version of the adopted 2022 Housing Element and Fair Share Plan shall be placed in a bound volume with a certified copy thereof placed in the office of the Township Clerk of the Township of Millburn, as well as the office of the Board, for future use and to represent a portion of the officially adopted master plan. Number 3, pursuant to NJSA 4055D-13, the Board Secretary shall cause a copy of this resolution together with a copy of the adopted 2022 Housing Element and Fair Share Plan to be sent to the Office of Planning Advocacy and to the Essex County Planning Board not more than 30 days after the adoption. And number 4, the Board Secretary, and all other officials and employees and professionals of the township are hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to effectuate the purposes of this resolution. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Thank you.
Before we, are you hearing me okay? I'm getting an internet note. I see Allison Canfield has her hand raised.
I do. I just have one question. We didn't meet the, what was it, the June 8th deadline, and we're having the meeting on the 15th. what is the official deadline to approve this proposal?
Madam Chair, if you'd like me to respond as best I can.
Yep, that's great.
There was no official time period. The original final compliance hearing was scheduled for June 10th. The hearing was adjourned to June 30th. So that's the date that we, the township, have to go before the court and set forth to the court all of the things we've done to implement the terms and conditions of the settlement agreement, one of which is to approve the housing element and fair share plan and to have the township endorse that housing element and fair share plan. The current schedule, it's anticipated that the planning board would consider this housing element and fair share plan tonight. If approved, the township committee would consider endorsement of it at its June 21st, I think it is, meeting. And at the same time, we'll consider introduction of the various overlay ordinances that are in the process of being finalized by the township planner and the affordable housing planner. And we'll go before the court on June 30th. So that's the sort of schedule that I can give you.
Thank you. I just have one more question. Was there any legal reason why this board did not see the environmental report?
They're available online.
Okay.
They're available as to the public as well on the Millburn Township website. So it was not a matter of, it just wasn't circulated among the board, but it's all publicly accessible.